College Kings. It has returned. And we're not bringing the energy that we usually bring, sadly. It was a beautiful end to the season on Monday. What a game where Michigan Wolverines take the win and end a beautiful season. But today, while we're recording this, breaking news. The GOAT himself, Nick Saban, has called it a career. We will be getting into everything college football, but when Nick Saban does something like this, that is headline news. We have an Alabama fan, of course, co-host of College Kings, CDM, here on this pod. CDM, take it away, brother.
Oh, man. 17 years, man. 17 great years of just dominance, of just excellence. And, I wouldn't trade any of it for the world, man. It was, I was spoiled. We were all spoiled. But, at the end of the day, we wouldn't be anywhere we were. We wouldn't be where we are without Nick Saban and Miss Terry Saban as well. I'll just tell you right now, man, I woke up from a nap today to my brother-in-law calling me to tell me the news that Nick Saban had retired. And I didn't believe him. I didn't want to. And then I get on my phone and, get the news. Nick Saban has retired. As you see right here from the image, here's the stats. 7-time national champ, 1 at LSU, 6 at Alabama, 11-time SEC champ. That's dominance right there. It's pure dominance. He just ran the league. 2-time SEC Coach of the Year,
That's 5-time SEC.
A little bit. Oh, no, it's 5, my bad. 5 SEC Coach of the Year, 2-time AP Coach of the Year.
Should have been more.
Oh, wait, no.
Should have been
more. Should have been more. More first-round draft picks than losses. The list goes on and on and on about what this man did for the sport, and there's a lot of people who didn't like Nick Saban because of what he did in Alabama. Him just continuously being the best of the best. Obviously the GOAT of the sport, but deep down, if you're a true college football fan, if you truly love the sport of what it is and how it's played, that Nick Saban revolutionized this sport, brought this sport to what it is today. In my opinion, there are a lot of other coaches in play for that, but Nick Saban never left. Nick Saban never stopped doing what he was doing. And, it's just sad. It's a sad day. It's a sad, sad day because I honestly think that, we can get one more year, 12-man playoff next year, one more year with old Nicky boy. But, it's a sad day. Grieve is coming and going. But at the end of the day, you have to be thankful for what you had and how long you had it. And I think I speak on behalf of all Alabama fans that, thank you, Coach Saban, for everything that you've done for the sport and done for us. You brought us from the gutters and up. Once again, we wouldn't be anywhere we are without Coach. And at the end of the day, if you're not an Alabama fan, if you are an Alabama fan, you don't have to like Nick Saban. You don't have to like what he does. But you have to respect the man and what he is and what he's done for the sport. Holding back emotions right now, it's kind of tough. It's going to be a tough couple of days, next season's not going to be the same, obviously. Not going to see him in his crimson or his white walking down the sidelines, but I expect him to make some visits here and there, come to a couple games. But, a career spent and enjoy retirement, Coach Saban. What a career.
What a career
right there.
Dang right, bro. Well said. It's just beautiful. You said it perfectly, man, and I ain't going to, and take any of your your spotlight there to hell of a career, man. It's when I heard the news, first things first. This is when you hear the news. It's one of those moments in sports history that you will never forget where you were. That is truly one of those moments. I have a handful of those moments in my life, and usually those moments are championships or moves or retirements. That's how it goes. You never forget some moments in college exactly where you were. I was at work in the middle of grinding on a story, and I remember, I hear someone say, Nick Saban retired. We got to put that out. I work for the news. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, we got to put that out. And I was like, what? Hang on. What? I literally stopped everything. I didn't have time to stop. I said, I'm going to find time. I stopped.
Mm-hmm.
I look, and it's true, man. And, you know, it's one of those things for 15 years, man. I know he's there for 17, but 15 years I remember him being pretty much an Alabama coach. And, you know, how many were at Bama? How many were at Bama? 17?
17.
No.
Yeah. He was there since 2000 and he got there in 07.
Okay.
So 17. Yeah.
Yeah.
17. Yeah. 16, 17.
I can't remember, but I know it's 17 years or whatever, something like that. But whenever he got there, all I remember is Nick Saban as the Alabama head coach. And that entire time, I hated him with a fiery passion. But when this happens, I remember one beautiful, beautiful statement from someone. I can't remember who. I think it was a radio guy. Dad told me about this guy. Talked about how, why do y'all hate Nick Saban so much, LSU fans? He used to be y'all's head coach. Didn't y'all like the guy? I said, yeah, well, when he was at LSU, he was our asshole. Now he's y'all's asshole, and that's the
Facts.
It's the
Facts.
That's the way to say it with Nick Saban. With all due respect, I mean, he is, you know, the greatest of all time. And when a guy like a Nick Saban finishes a career as unreal as his, as much as I have talked crap, try to bring down, say it's over, say he's lost his fastball, he just finished his last year of his career with literally a career-defining career for most coaches. Like, if someone finished their season like Alabama did this year, their career that'd be the best thing they ever done. For Nick Saban,
Yeah.
you know, that's nothing. So, you know, for a guy like Nick Saban to call it a career, all I can say is thank you, Coach. Loved that he came out of his shell this last season. I really got to learn who Nick Saban was on that with the Pat McAfee show, doing that interview every week.
It's facts. Same here.
I mean, it's like you learn what kind of a man, coach, you know, human he was, leader of men, and all those things every single week when I would listen to him. I just could not, I couldn't understand how awesome of a human being he was and how perfect he was for coaching, how unreal he is at being a leader. He is literally the definition of a coach. He is the greatest coach I've ever got to witness with my own eyes. You know, you could throw some really big names in there. Bill Belichick. Go to basketball, you can talk about Popovich. You could talk about Phil Jackson. I mean, there's coaches everywhere. But when it comes to just an absolute animal, a perfect coach, a leader of men, a developer of men, more like it, you know, there's nothing like Nick Saban. And when a guy like Nick Saban calls it a career, all you can say is, thank you, Coach. Thank you, Coach. You're the GOAT. You're the GOAT. Hey, go enjoy Cancun with Miss Terry. You know, y'all deserve it.
Obviously.
He's earned his, you know, his vacation. I bet I don't think he's got any, you know, I think he's going to really enjoy some just peace. Even though I think we're going to see him a lot still in the college football realm, I do believe he will be either with ESPN or somebody else. Like, it just feels like he will be still in that field, that world. It doesn't feel like he's just going to just disappear, especially with all the stuff that he kind of slowly started doing with media. So, man, that's all I can say is I hope he doesn't leave the game fully. I hope we get to see him more. I hope we get to hear him talk more about this beautiful sport as it progresses into a new era, legitimately a new era without the greatest coach of all time, man.
It's a whole new era for college football, and I hate that it's not going to start with Nick Saban. But he helped lay the building blocks for this. He helped, you know, get this to where it is. So, you know, It's going to be tough. It's going to be hard, but the tide's never dead. The tide's not dead. This is a big stepping stone now. This is a different era of Alabama football now. It's going to be a totally different era. Don't know who the head coach is going to be yet. There's a lot of contenders right now. I've heard Dan Lanning, Lane Kiffin, D'Amico Ryan, Dabo, Mike Norvell. A lot of people are in the works for it. But right now, I just need to front office at Alabama is just going to have to sit down, figure out the next direction is to continue to be the Alabama football that we've been for the few decades, honestly. I won't lie, for the past couple of decades. Yeah.
It's been about a couple decades at this point. And let's take one more look at that graphic, just kind of lot in it. And CDM, I'll give you a quick question. You ain't got to go into it too much. You already laid out some of those guys. What's a name that you wouldn't mind seeing with the Crimson Tide next season?
Hey, man, I won't lie to you. I would love to see Lane Kiffin back there. Like, good Lord. Lane Kiffin. I mean, everybody's been talking about Lane Kiffin taking that job after Nick leaves. Me and you, before the pod, we talked about Dabo. Dabo leaving would be the right time in his career to go to an Alabama and possibly lead them to somewhere else. But Lane Kiffin or Dabo Swinney, probably the two coaches that I would say. Dan Lanning, I'm sorry. He's killing it at Oregon right now. He doesn't need to leave. If he leaves right now, I feel like it would be a bad choice in his career. Because he's finally getting all the players that he needs on his team. And then D'Amico Ryan, like, why? Dude just made the playoffs. First year as a head coach, got his new rookie quarterback, his rookie defensive lineman, and Will Anderson. Like, that dude is not leaving at all. So, yeah, those are the two guys, either Lane or Dabo.
Yeah, they got all these players, coaches out there, it's fun. Sometimes you got to think outside the box, too. They've got, some of these guys on here that are, not even, you kind of said D'Amico, NFL coaches.
Dan Quinn,
Mike Vrabel. Hey.
Ooh.
I feel like he would look really good in some Crimson, but I think there's
I don't know. I feel like Bill Belichick would look good.
I don't think that. But I will say, I think Dabo's the guy. I just think Dabo is the guy. It's been talked about. It's been alluded to. Everyone has been trying to manifest this one for so long. And, it's timing. I told you before the pod, it's timing. A lot of these guys, timing-wise, it just doesn't make sense. Dan Lanning doesn't make sense timing-wise. Steve Sarkisian doesn't make sense timing-wise. Deion Sanders doesn't have enough experience, obviously. Marcus Freeman, I'm not a big fan of that hire. Lane Kiffin, it's just not good timing, man. So when you look at timing-wise, there's only one guy, if you're going for the top guys, which Alabama will go for,
Oh, yeah.
I just feel like Dabo's the only guy that makes sense right this second. So we shall see.
And, also, another thing I want to say is, why wouldn't you want to come coach at Alabama? Why wouldn't you want to come prove that you're the best of the best? Yeah, those are you got some big shoes to fill, I understand, but you don't have to necessarily be the next Nick Saban. Yep. Okay? A new era of Alabama football is about to come into play, okay? You don't have to try and be the next Nick Saban. Be the head coach that you are meant to be.
Whoa, Kansas lost. Oh my God. UCF beat Kansas.
What rank are they?
Kansas number 3, dude.
Dude, number 1, number 2, and number 3 have all lost in back-to-back days.
Oh, my goodness, dude.
You got to love college basketball.
Look at this.
Dude, that's insane.
Holy crap. Oh, my gosh. I got to.
Number 1, number 2, and number 3, and number 5. Tennessee lost today.
Yes, they did. And that kind of loses something we're going to talk about later. Hey, look at this. UCF fans storming the court after the game. They beat them. Oh, my goodness. March Madness has started in January, ladies and gentlemen. March Madness has started in January. We've had upsets the past 2 days. Like this, so we've had number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 5 get beat, all in a 2-day span.
Yeah, dude, that's going to be insane because, if this continues, we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that later in the pod.
Holy smokes. Everyone's losing, bro.
Everybody's losing and everybody's going down.
I think
that will wrap up everything about the sadness that I'm feeling today.
Jeez,
But
bro, Lane Kiffin again, dude. You just got Logan Diggs from LSU, man.
oh yeah, I saw that today. Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my
he
God,
did.
that's a
Dude,
replacement.
yeah, dude's not leaving Ole Miss. Dude's not leaving the SIP anytime soon.
But yes, you
But,
can conclude that once. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah,
Here.
yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, that'll conclude. The breaking news that we have today. But now we will get into what happened on Monday night between the number 1, number 2 Michigan Wolverines and the Washington Huskies. Nate, I'll let you take this one away. I'll give you this. Michigan gets the job done, earning their first championship since 1997. Okay, 1997. Thoughts on what the game was like and how the year really went out for Michigan and Washington as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's the best team won. That's all I can say is the best team won. Everyone knows if you listen or watch, on YouTube. Washington was my team, man, and I really thought they had a chance. I really loved their matchup. But man, that Michigan team is unreal. I mean, that team was there's not going to be that Michigan team's gone. Like all those guys, it's like the entire team was
someone
seniors.
said that that's the best team in college football now.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
And I said that. I was like, bro, y'all. I was like, no. I was like, 2019 LSU, wax.
Yeah.
2020 Bama,
Yeah.
wax.
There's some other teams that might beat that team, but yeah, man. I mean, it was an amazing team, and it was just their year. At the end of the day, I said during the pod, this was one of those ones where, like, I'm rooting for I was all in on Washington. Like, that was the team I wanted to win. But when Michigan won, there was a smile on my face for Jim Harbaugh. There was a smile on my face for Blake Corum, for J.J. McCarthy.
No, not for J.J.
No, not J.J.
Jimmy Garoppolo. What do you mean? Dude, barely, okay, like, dude, 10 of 18 for 140 yards. Yeah. I'm used to seeing quarterbacks go like 26 of 38, 440 yards and like 3 tuds, bro.
Fair.
This is just Jimmy G in college handing the ball off.
You're right. Fair. Listen, I wasn't slandering JJ. I was just happy for JJ. All right, but good point.
I mean, you gotta look at it.
Good point. But no, man. At the end of the day, I'm happy for Michigan to pull off an amazing season with all the hell they went through. I mean, it was literally like so tumultuous. And yes, you could say it was their fault. Like, they were the ones that did what they did, rogue agent or not. It happened in their building. They allowed this to happen. They allowed the headlines to be on this team. They allowed themselves to be the villain. And, it's hard to overcome all of that. Like, the mental just capacity. Like, for us, we really don't understand what it is like to be the number one story in sports for pretty much however long this damn season and however long this Connor Stallions thing has been going on this season. Like, literally, Jim Harbaugh has been the talking point of college football all year until Nick Saban retires. Literally.
Yeah.
All year. It's been Jim Harbaugh until what happened today. So, for me, it's a really, what we saw was an absolute masterclass of coaching from Michigan. They are so well coached offensively. Their scheme is unreal. Sharon Moore, he better be getting some NFL, buzz if he doesn't get this Michigan head coaching job if Jen leaves. Like, his offense is so interesting. It's just NFL offense. I mean, huddling up, 12-man personnel. It's 3 tight ends, offensive linemen everywhere. It's literally that's their team. That's how they play offense. Smash mouth football. No, not a lot of people do that anymore. It's really hard to do that anymore. And just want to give my love to Sharon. Him having that offense just clicking, just on point, ready to go. Offensive line was on another level, creating holes. Running backs were just locked in from day one. I mean, Edwards
was a dog, dude. That first quarter, Jesus Christ.
I mean, it was like, part the waters, let me go through. I am flying.
But no, like, I'll talk to you about this, dude. That offensive line, Washington's offensive line won that award this year. I think they really need to look over on what Michigan's offensive line did, dude. That offensive line went ballistic,
Yep.
ballistic. And yeah, Washington's defense did wake up in the second half, but that freaking first half, dude, it was insane just how good they were in the trenches,
dude. And that's the thing is you just brought it up. Like Washington was the best offensive line award wise. They won the award. But Michigan's defensive line pretty much handled their offensive line, dominated to a certain extent. Penix was never comfortable in that game. And Michigan
got hurt too.
Yeah, I mean, and Michigan was in complete control on the offensive side of the ball when it comes to blocking, controlling the pace. And the thing is, Washington had moments. They just never could do anything because of that defense. And that's my last point, really, is the talent is evident. Like, you could see the talent on the field. They've got players everywhere on defense. The most impressive thing to me is their communication, dude. It is NFL-esque communication during the play, man. I remember there was one play. I wish I have it. I remember it was one play, a guy running a crosser over the middle, and the corner was because they brought him in motion. He was on the left side, brought him in motion into the slot, still on the left. He runs a crosser. That motion showed that it was man, right? And then it's a crosser over the middle. The cornerback keeps following. By the time he's about to pretty much go to the right side of the field, he's telling the safety, take him. And the safety picks it up, covers it completely. Can't throw the ball there. That's where the play was supposed to go. I think that's what Herbstreit was saying. And Penix wasn't able to go there because of the communication on it. And that play was just like, and there was like multiple plays like that where there was multiple plays.
Safeties. Like I'll say this: there was one play Michigan was in the red zone.
Oh no!
I think it was more. I think it was like maybe 2 play touchdown.
All right, you're back.
They ran a jet.
Sorry.
Yeah, they ran a jet sweep. They ran a jet sweep, and all I see is an offense. I see the guard pull out, go to the left or go to the right, and then I see the Michigan safety just duck under him, take on a fully grown offensive lineman, and hit Dylan Johnson right there and make the tackle. It was a handoff. It was a power. It was power, and it was power to the right. And the offensive guard pulls, trying to get him to the outside, and that safety just took him on, ducked under him and hit Dylan Johnson for the tackle, bro. And like, honest to God, hurt his thigh, bro. Like, I mean, Dylan Johnson was battling injuries all night, but that just tacked on to it. They hurt this Washington team, bro. They dismembered them. Now, going on, here's my other point. Will this championship be looked at differently due to the accusations that you brought up, though? Do you think this championship looks differently at college football because of the way Michigan's season went with the cheating allegations and Collar Stallions?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's definitely going to be a talking point for with this championship forever. And for me, I hate that that's a thing still. And we all knew it would be if they won the championship. It's going to be there. It's going to stay there. I don't think there's any kind of asterisk you could put on this championship because of that, because at the end of the day, they were the best team. And they've been here 3 straight times. You can say it's because of Stein stealing all you want if you want to out there. But for me, it's bigger than that. Like, this team was just better. This team was more prepared. This team was better coached. They were just the team this season. And, yeah, I mean, I would love to see everything that comes out of this entire Connor Stallions thing and the cheating allegations. And we should know. We should know how much it did play a factor. Seeing it, like, if we could see how much everybody knew, how much it impacted the organization, the university as a whole, the program itself. But I mean, if it was literally just a rogue agent, then we definitely know, all right, this team, they're cleared. Like, let's not even. But until that is proven otherwise, it's gonna linger with them. But for me personally, straight from me, I'm never going to hold that against them. I think that this team was the best team. They're the best team on Monday. They're the best team when they played Alabama. And, they are the best team in the country this season. And they proved that. They had the best players. They had the best coaching staff. And they put together the 2 best games in the biggest moments of the season. And, I hate that is a thing that is lingering on them. It is lingering, and it will continue to. But, I hate that's a thing, but they also put themselves in that situation that you know, whoever's right or wrong in this scenario, I mean, it is a thing that they have to deal with. And, you know, let's put that on the coaches, though. Let's not put that on the players. Let's let these players, you know, enjoy a championship as they should, because, man, that championship proved how freaking hard it is to win a championship. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, and I'll agree with you on what you said, man. Like, yeah, I was one of the guys that I was pissed off when they came out with the cheating scandal and all that. Because, you know, I mean, I like a fair game, you know. College football is not, it shouldn't be about that. It should always be about, you know, just the electricity that comes around the electricity and the atmosphere that comes with college football. But at the end of the day, as you said, and as a lot of other people will say, they were the best team. They were the best team all season long. I think, you know, a lot of people say if Georgia was in this, Georgia would beat them. I highly doubt that. I think it would be a better game. Yeah, I think it would have been a way better game than Washington put up. No offense to Washington. They got to a championship. They did what they had to do. Yeah. They just had to play against one of a really good team. But no, I think this is the way that it was supposed to be. I think it was the way it was meant to be. And this is coming from an Alabama fan. This team was the best team. That defense really woke me up and showed me, like, even though they did not play against the top competition in the country, this team was meant to compete against anybody. And as you said before, the three times in the college football playoffs, that just showed how hard it is to really make it to the focal point that you are trying to be a champion at the end of the year. Yep. And, you know, they had to go through some challenges. They had to go through Georgia. They had to go through TCU, and they had to go through Alabama. And that's not easy competition, especially at Georgia or Alabama. TCU just had a phenomenal year. I'll say that. TCU was just that Cinderella story we got to see happen. Yep. But Jim Harbaugh did what he had to do. You know, even though he got suspended for 6 games, he still managed to keep his composure, his, you know, being the head coach that he is, being able to come back and coach in the playoffs and go to a national championship. And it made me a smile. It gave me a smile on my face as well. It was nice to see that all this hard work, all this, you know, he could never beat Ohio State. He would never be able to win a bowl game. He proved everybody wrong. And, you know, he runs the Big Ten now. Big Ten is Jim Harbaugh and Michigan's conference. I don't know if he's going or if he's leaving, but that's their conference. He's not – nobody's going to be able to take that way until next year. It's going to be harder. But right now, John Harbaugh is the best coach in college football right now at the end of the season. At the end of the season, not of all time, at the end of the season. But now he can find, as he came out in post game, you know, it was a funny quote. He was talking about he can finally sit at the big boy table now with his dad and his brother, finally being able to win a national championship. I loved it. I think it was a great game. Michigan showed pure dominance. They showed old school football of just running the ball down your throat, having that 2-headed monster in the backfield with Edwards and Corum, and then the dominant offensive line. And then the defense came into play. Defense was phenomenal. The communication, as you said, was always going to be there. It was great. They made every play. They executed every play. They shut down this powerful Washington offense as well. As we said before, they never gave Michael Penix time to be comfortable in the pocket. There were moments where he was, but he could never get the ball to where it needed to be because that secondary is dirty, bro. That secondary is loaded down with like first, second round talent for sure. But Jim Harbaugh can finally rest easy knowing that he finally got a championship for his alumni. So I applaud Jim. Yes. I applaud the coach that he is, you know. I don't know if he should stay though. That's the thing. That's one thing that I was going to mention as well. But before I mention that, speaking of Connor Stallion, how happy do you think he was? Because on Monday, I saw a picture. He posted a picture of a Michigan championship hat with a bouquet of roses by it on his dash on his car.
He was pretty happy.
I'm thinking Connor's pretty happy right now with where he is right now. I think he's pretty happy. He's sitting back there on the couch drinking a cold one. He's like,
"Oh yeah, that. You want to see how happy he was?
That's my job right there.
You want to see how happy he was? This is how happy Connor Stallions was with the Michigan faithful. Oh, yeah, look at that. Look at that. Bringing the brews. He will never run out of alcohol in the rest of his life ever again. Look at that. Free beer to Connor Stallions himself. Gotta love that. Gotta love
God bless.
There's no audio on this one because I don't want to have to go through the circus that it can be sometimes with the audio. But in the background, there's a guy saying, "Thank you, Connor."
Thank you, Connor. You're welcome.
I was like, he'll never live those allegations down. But honestly, if you live in Michigan for the rest of your life, they're never gonna hate you there, bro. They're gonna love you.
The state of Michigan will always love you now, no matter what. No matter what anybody says about you, you are a Michigan Wolverine for life.
You are a Wolverine for life, man. You know, it might not be the way you wanted it to be, but you will be a Wolverine for life. Yeah, he was pretty happy celebrating on Monday, man. So, yeah, that was a funny video I saw. I was kind of circling the interweb, so had to add that. But you know, CDM, that kind of leads us into let's talk about some Jim Harbaugh, man. You know, because
so much is happening with Jim Harbaugh right now. Like, put Nick Saban aside, Jim Harbaugh is still like the talking point of where's he going to go? What's he going to do? Does he stay back and try and go back-to-back national championships with Michigan?
It's so interesting.
Or does he go back to the NFL and try and be one of the all-time greats, kind of like Pete Carroll, and win a national championship and a Super Bowl? He was there before. He went there before. Had to go against Big Brother though, and you know Big Brother's not going to cut you any slack. But you know, I just don't. I'll start this one off. I just don't know, because I think honestly, if he wanted to, he would have already came out and said, "Yeah, I'm staying back at Michigan. Let's run it back one more year." In my honest opinion, I really think you started off something. You started it with it. You end with it. You're riding off into the sunset. I think it's time to go back to the NFL. I think it's maybe time to, you know, go back to where you started off. You're starting off your coaching career big in the big leagues, honestly. You know, starting at Stanford and then going to the NFL. I mean, Jim Harbaugh made 3 NFC championships and a Super Bowl. I mean, what else can you say about that man and what he can do in the NFL? Okay, and you think this man can recruit. Yeah, he can recruit. But just imagine if he gets a board around him and just looking at all the draft prospects that are coming in these next couple of years. I mean, imagine this man can cook. This man would cook a draft board, I think, to rebuild a team, depending on where he goes. Yep. But that's the big question, though, Nate. Where is he going to go? What NFL team will give him a full chance at being their head coach for the next coming years? And I have one place. You're set up for success at quarterback. Your defense is not that bad if you just get a couple more pieces, and you got to rebuild the offensive line. And you got some dogs at Michigan that I know would not mind coming to follow you to the NFL. And I think the Chargers. Chargers could be the most beautiful spot. First off, you're in LA. Who doesn't want to go to LA, man? It's beautiful, it's sunny. You got a brand new stadium around you that's not even that old. I mean, and you got Justin Herbert, generational talent at quarterback, huge arm. You got Derwin James and Joey Bosa over on the other side. Maybe you keep Khalil Mack. Who knows? I mean, he had an outstanding year with sacks. I think LA would be the most reasonable spot for him to land up just because of the talent that they already have. Yeah, I think they do lose Keenan Allen. They may lose Mike Williams. But as long as you have Justin Herbert and give Jim Harbaugh with something to work with down over in LA, I think he could do something really good with that team. And that's what that team needs. They need a spark. They need a coach that's going to be confident in them more than they are going to be confident in him. So I think LA would be the best place for him to go. And I think he should honestly leave. I think, ride off on the sunset.
Yeah, it's so interesting because you think about it, it's like, all right, if he wants to stay at Michigan, let's see what's the roster looking like. Because I mean, at the end of the day, if you're going somewhere, if you're going to stick around, like, is the team competing? Yeah, they've recruited and they've hit in the portal. It's not like they're just absolutely doing nothing, but they're losing a lot of guys. They're losing a lot.
You're losing like your entire offensive line, your 2 running backs.
You
remember when Edwards was in the transfer portal at one point?
Yeah, I do.
And then this dude comes out in the first quarter and just balls 100 yards before the halftime.
It's so cool too. Just slightly off topic, but I don't know if you saw him talking about what he's went through this season because he had a lot of injuries and stuff. So you got like a sports psychologist, a therapist, to kind of talk through everything, and he like laid out everything about everything he's been going through during media and everything. Like when they were asking him, and he's like, "Yeah, it's been rough. Like I've had to talk through all this. Like I know I'm good. I can still play football at an elite level. It's just about having that mindset." And then he goes out and has literally a career legendary game. It was kind of like, oh, that's pretty awesome. I saw it before the game, and then dope. After when it was happening, I was like, oh, I feel good for that guy. So, but when it comes to Harbaugh, yeah, when you look at the roster, bro, they're losing literally. So they have 22 juniors that are eligible to go to the draft, 15 seniors, and then 16 graduate seniors. That is over half the team, by the way. So,
oh my God,
they have 22 sophomores, 25 freshmen, and then obviously guys coming in. But you're losing a lot of players. So for me, you've done your job, man. I get it. The hardest thing about being an elite coach in college football is not winning the first one. It's winning the next one and the next one. And that's why Nick Saban is unfreaking real. That's why Kirby Smart is on his way to being the next all-time great in college football. It's so hard to win multiple championships, to stay alive. I mean, the best example of this is when Dabo and Clemson was on top of the world, and now look at where they're at now. Yeah, they're still winning almost 10 games a year, but they're not
where they're not dominant like how they were those past couple of years.
No, and they're not Alabama. They're not there every single year. They're not in the game every single year, it feels like. So, it's hard to be Nick Saban. It's hard to be Kirby Smart. It's hard to stay consistent every year. And I'm not saying Jim couldn't. Jim could definitely do that. But you got that chip. You've set this team up for success. They know how to win. They know what it takes to win. You have an elite offensive coordinator, in my opinion, a guy that showed that he can win as a head coach in Sherrone Moore. Let him take the job. You move on. The Chargers are nice. I love the Chargers.
Chargers sounds nice, man.
Love the idea of the Chargers. My team that is a sleeper, I personally believe they should fire their coach, even though it wasn't a horrible season. I'm just not a big fan of the guy.
The Giants.
Since Daboll out after a year, after winning Coach of the Year, that'd be kind of crazy. Did you see that him and that offensive coordinator got in a cussing match apparently?
Yeah, bro. Yeah. He resigned. He said he told Brian to go F himself.
Oh, geez.
Called him a fat tub of lard. Basically called him a fat tub of lard, bro.
Oh, my God.
And then I looked at a picture of both of them, and their beer guts are like halfway out here, bro. And I'm just like,
speak for yourself. Yeah, speak for yourself, man.
Look in the mirror, Tubby.
Dude, but no, man. There's one team that I've not been able to get them out of my head since the beginning of these Jim Harbaugh rumors. And that team, for me, just because of the draft capital they have in this draft, the players that they've acquired this season and possibly what they could acquire, I'm going Chicago Bears here, man. I'm going Chicago Bears.
No, they're keeping him for 20. They're keeping Eberflus for 2024.
I know. It just pisses me off because I hate.
Yeah, dude, it makes me mad because they're going to trade Justin Fields, and it's not Justin Fields' fault. Like, it's just
whoever gets him, man.
Just imagine if Jim Harbaugh got Justin Fields.
That's what I'm saying. Even if Harbaugh said, all right, if we're getting rid of him, if Harbaugh gets rid of him, I know Harbaugh's going to make a move to get something great in return. I don't know about Eberflus. Eberflus is probably going to get a bag of chips and some waters, dude. Like it's like he's not going to get anything, dude. Like, I don't trust Eberflus with anything, so.
Eberflus would be the guy to not even draft like Marvin Harrison Jr. He'd be the guy to go out and just draft he'd be the guy to go draft J.J. McCarthy, honestly.
He would probably hire Bill Belichick as his draft scout. You know how terrible Bill has been at drafting.
Lad McConkey right now.
Bill, we have the number one pick. Lad McConkey. What do you see in him? There's just something there. There's just something
Coach, he's not even top 25. He's not even top 25 receiver. I see something in him, dude. I see like the next Edelman and Amendola.
They're not even that good.
They're not even that good. Julian won MVP. He's not even that good.
I want Calvin Johnson. I don't want Julian Edelman.
He's not in the league anymore, Coach.
That's get back to the point. That's where I would love to see Jim Harbaugh coach next season. But if we're being honest, the hot teams are definitely going to be the Chargers and excuse me. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh no.
Bless you.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh no. Oh.
So either the Chargers or the Bears, probably.
One more team.
Oh, one more team?
New team on the block. The Seahawks. Oh, God.
Ooh, yeah, facts. Dude, they are in need of a head coach right now. Ooh, just imagine if I think they, in my opinion, they're going to draft Michael Penix Jr. Keep that man in Washington.
Sorry, man, I dearly died.
But, talking about Jim Harbaugh leaving the Big Ten, let's talk about this team heading into the Big Ten, the team that came as a runner-up in the national championship. How will Washington start off in the Big Ten now that they are going into a new conference? And, possibly meeting Michigan again in a Big Ten championship, possibly. Yeah. I don't really I'll start this one. I don't really know. I don't really know how Washington's going to do. It's going to be weird after you lose Michael Penix Jr. Yes, you do get Will Rogers, Mississippi State transfer, hometown boy, 601 mate, going over to Washington to, be the quarterback over there. He was actually at the national championship on the sidelines, throwing a couple passes.
That's why they lost.
Saw that on Twitter. Damn. It's going to be tough for Washington in the Big Ten next year because besides the SEC, the Big Ten is going to be the second hardest conference to play in as well. You're losing Odunze. You're losing who's that other wide receiver you said?
Sorry. For who?
Washington. They're losing Penix. They're losing Odunze. Yeah. They're losing
Polk's going to go in the draft, right?
Yeah, he already announced. Yeah, Polk's going into the draft. Dylan Johnson, I don't know if he's announced to him yet. They are losing some defensive players as well. They're losing their stud defensive tackle, and they're also losing a couple pieces of the secondary. So it's gonna be a rebuild.
Trice is the defensive end. Yeah.
Yeah, they're losing him, and they're losing their defensive tackle as well.
Yes, and he's pretty damn good too. So.
Yeah, he's a big boy. I don't expect Washington to go in there guns blazing, being like, reigning Pac-12 champs. Pac-12's done. You're in the big boy house now. You're in one of the big boy leagues. You're playing against top competition than probably you were in the Pac-12. You're not going to be running this league. You are going to have to go up against Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, Oregon. Oregon's right there as well. USC, depending on what Lincoln Riley can do over there. It's going to be tough for Washington going in there, especially not a new head coach, but a new scene for the head coach going into that type of league, especially with more elite coaching in there as well. So I expect Washington I don't expect them to hit the ground running. I don't expect them to, come in there punching everybody in the mouth, knocking down opponents left and right. But I do expect them to at least make it a competition for other teams in there as well, especially since it's a whole new team. It's a whole new league in there. So there's going to be some surprises. I could be totally wrong, and Washington could totally win it all next year in the Big Ten. I could be wrong. I could be right. I could be right in saying that they go 7-5 next year and don't make the 12-man playoff. It's going to be weird. College football is going in a whole different direction next year. It's going to be, saying the same thing for Washington, and you could say the same thing for Alabama. What's Alabama going to be like next year? So many question marks with teams going into next year's college football season. So I believe Washington is going to have a slow start in the Big Ten. I don't expect them to, be at the top anytime soon. I say about maybe 3-4 years tops that they can be one of the top dogs in that conference. But it's going to be hard. It's going to be a tough conference to play in. But if they continue what they're doing in recruiting with NIL, with a transfer portal and NIL deals that they could be able to give out, I think they can make a really big. They can possibly make a leap into being one of those top dogs in the Big Ten.
Yeah, man. Just their rise recently it's so inspiring to me. It makes me really believe that they'll be fine. It's hard to believe that they'll go straight to the Big Ten and win a conference title or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I think the groundwork has been, the foundation has been laid. This team, he has built a team. DeBoer has, and them in that
Continue,
game.
I'm listening.
No, I mean, they were in that game for, the entire game. They were there the entire game. They were in the game. And, he talked about how it's just a couple of moments. Just a couple of moments is the biggest reason why they weren't able to, pull it off. So, that game really set them up. I feel like they're going to learn a lot from that game. But when it comes to them moving on, it is a thing that you gotta think about. Okay, who are they playing against? Are they going to get to avoid a Michigan? Are they avoiding an Ohio State? These kinds of things, you're going to wait till the championship, and next year you look at their schedule. You got a Michigan. You have an Iowa. You haven't, Washington.
Wait, they play Michigan next year?
They do. Yes, they play them. October 5th.
God, dude! Yes.
Yeah. They were already talking about that during the broadcast. How they're going to get their rematch. So, they get Michigan. They get Iowa. They get a USC. They get Penn State. They get UCLA. They get Oregon. I mean, there is a lot of tough games on their schedule next season, and for me, it's like, all right, if you can get through that undefeated, then all right, now we're talking. But I think their recent rise will get them, will have them steady enough to survive early on. They're not winning next year, I don't think, but this team is going to be okay because you have multiple teams joining. It's not just Washington. It's Oregon. It's USC. It's UCLA. You have a lot of squads coming in with you. The Big Ten's going to be packed. It's going to be overloaded. But for me, I think Washington is going to be completely fine. We'll see about next season. I'm not too sold on Will Rogers, playing big time. I know he played SEC ball, but this is big time ball.
I'm about to say that's big time ball. It
is.
He may have not done good against it, but I mean that's still that's the best conference in college football.
Mississippi State's big time ball, but I'm just saying, all right, this is just a little different. You have to play behind. You have to take over after a Heisman finalist on a team that was in a national championship. It's just. Those expectations are different than, hey, let's go get 8 wins at Mississippi State. That's, can we compete with Bama? And now it's you have to beat Michigan in this rematch type of thing. Yeah. So it's a lot for me to believe that Will Rogers is going to walk in there and just, take it all on the shoulders and be that guy. So something I got to be proven, But I do like Will Rogers. I just want to see him, let's see if he can take that next step because he's going to have to take that next step to be the guy. And we'll see. I like Washington. I think their recent rise is going to, elevate them as they head into the Big Ten next year. And they'll be fine. They'll be fine. Winning it, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I just got a notification that said Bama students cheering anybody but Dabo.
These guys don't know ball. These guys don't know
ball.
These
guys are still sad. I mean, guys, I understand it's fresh, guys. But I mean, come on now. We're taking anybody. We'll take anything at this point. Guys, come on now.
CDM. You don't want to see these rumors.
What?
Lincoln Riley?
What?
Lincoln Riley? Question mark?
No. God, no. God, please, no. Oh, my God. No, I would die. Oh, my God. I can't take shitty defense, bro. We need good defense. We play in the SEC. What do you mean? This man brings just shit defense. No. Oh, my God. If that happens, bro, I may just become an Ole Miss fan, honest to God.
When I'm talking about rumors, all I'm seeing is Bama fans praying that please don't be the next coach. Please don't be the next coach.
Dude, no. No, dude, Lincoln Riley, no, God, no. If he got into the SEC, why do you think he left Oklahoma before they got into the SEC? He couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. No.
No. Let's
wrap everything up on a Monday, though.
Yeah, I think that'll wrap up our Monday and our Wednesday so far. So let's get through some college football. Well, actually, we're not done with Monday, I guess. We still got some things to talk about that we should have saw on Monday. Where the hell was the NCAA football game trailer, bro? Where the hell was that?
Dude, that pissed me off because me, Cassidy, Dylan, and the babies were sitting in here, bro, and it's halftime. And they're like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I'm waiting for the trailer. They said, what trailer? I was like, NCAA, man. I'm waiting for the NCAA trailer to come out. And I got to the third quarter. I was like, this is total horse crap, dude. I was promised and I was not given what I was promised, bro. How do you hype it up that much and you don't even put out a commercial, a tweet, a post on Instagram, Facebook, social media in general, and you're holding out on the boys. You're holding out on the boys and the men that have been waiting for 14 years for this game to come out.
It's been a while.
And you're holding out on us. It's been a while, bro. And I'm pissed. I was pissed off. I want to call EA and just chew them out. But what can I do? But no, dude, it was disgusting. Disgusting.
Yeah, apparently these rumors were not from EA, that these were false rumors. That's what's been coming out now. So whoever this guy, I was about to say, whoever started this rumor, better watch your back. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, dude, you better sleep with one eye open, the door locked, and a 9mm by your bed, because we're coming for you.
We're gonna find out who you were, and
I'm gonna find out who you were, and I'm gonna torture you. I'm gonna sit you down and let you listen to the NCAA intro over and over and over again until you cry, because that is just rude. That is mean. That is unforgivable. Unforgivable.
God, yeah, it's
you piece of shit.
Play the intro of the NCAA 14. Let's
play it every hour of every day, every minute, every second. You're gonna sit there and you're gonna listen to EA Sports. It's in the game.
Hang on, I gotta see intro.
It's a goated intro, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie. By the third day, you're gonna know that intro word for word, bar for bar. And it's a banger, and I know bangers.
Do you hear it, Carson?
It's a banger. No, I can't. I can't hear the greatness.
Oh, no, you're missing this.
I'll just say it. EA Sports. It's in the game.
I don't know if the people heard that. It's a beautiful thing.
I don't know if they could have heard it.
If
you know what we're talking about.
Dun dun dun.
Okay. If you know what we're talking about, you know the intro. You know that we were all waiting for that information to come out just for it to be lies and deceit.
It's beautiful. It's just a terrible, terrible freaking day. Terrible news. It's okay.
What kind of human being are you?
Yeah, you're a sick human being. That's what it is. All right,
you sicko.
Let's get off of this. Let's move on. Let's move on to. Let's look at some favorites next year. The opening favorites. Because that's what Source is. I mean, we won a championship this week, and we're already looking at the favorites for next year. Obviously,
next year's gonna be fun.
Odds are probably already changed. Actually, they have probably shifted.
Oh my god, bro! It's probably just out the door.
Actually,
Bama's not even in the top 2.
I was about to say so these odds are probably just absolutely destroyed. So I'm not even gonna lay them out. All I know is Georgia is still number 1. So we're gonna say that Georgia is number 1. Before this news came out, Bama was at 2, Ohio State was at 3, and Michigan was at 4. Obviously, those odds have probably changed when we wrote this all up. That was before the Nick Saban news dropped. But CDM, give me your thoughts on Georgia being number 1. Are you shocked by that? Should they be number 1? Should we see the national champs, earn that back, or is they got it right here early on?
First off, I would like to say that y'all are all lucky that Nick Saban retired. I'd like to say that right now.
Here we go. Yeah, he's back.
yeah. I'd like to say that right now. Y'all are all lucky. But I don't think Bama is going to be in the top 4 or the top 5 with odds, just because we did just lose Nick Saban. Georgia's Georgia. That's all I can really say. I mean, it's Georgia, dog. It's Kirby Smart. As you said prior, he's on his way to be one of the next greats in college football. So I'm not surprised that Georgia is at number 1, okay? I'm sorry. And as you said, when we were talking about Michigan's losing half of their roster. So it's going to be hard for Michigan to bounce back. Yes, you are national champions, but are you going to be able to come back and possibly try to defend that national title? Georgia did it 2 years in a row. So, I mean, you got to put Georgia at number 1. Ohio State at number 3. It's kind of weird because, in my opinion, it's going to have to be Georgia with the best odds at number 1. I would put Ohio State at the best odds for number 2. Michigan at number 3 just because they won the Natty. And at number 4 is the weird spot because I don't really know who's going to fill in that number 4 spot for the best for odds, honestly. Who's at number 5? Do you know?
Actually, you know what? Screw it. Let's look it up. Champions College.
Because if we're gonna be honest, Yeah, Bama's not going to be up there now. The odds have totally changed. Georgia's odds have probably gone. Let's see, you had them 17-4. They were 17-14 odds. That's probably gone up to, I would say, 19-1 odds. I would say 19-1 odds that they can win it all. Michigan. Michigan came in with that 4, and then Washington at 3 with. I mean, Ohio State with 8-1 odds. That's probably going to go up a little bit more as well. I don't know. It's well, I don't know. I don't know why I said that. Georgia should be the best odds to win the national title next year. It is going to be weird. You could throw Texas in there. Okay, Texas probably should have some of the best odds to make.
Texas at 5.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Texas is obviously going to be bunched up to number with top 4 and best odds.
Hear me out though. Beautiful odds. If you are a bettor, if you'd like to, dabble in that field, some sexy odds right here. Ole Miss sitting at 7 with 14-1 odds. That's some nice money right there, dude. That's some.
Oh yeah,
1,400. I mean, that's some nice.
Factual, and and like you shouldn't throw out Bama. You don't know what's going to happen with Alabama next year. They could. I mean, it would be poetic justice if Alabama, after a year after losing Nick Saban, wins the 12-man playoff. I'm just saying that would be insane.
Oh,
dude, you know how pissed off people would be if we won a national title.
This team just can't freaking lose.
What is this? What is this, man?
Nick Saban's in that building. Nick Saban's in the building. There's no way. It's bullshit. By the way, this post just came out. CDM. There is a private charter. Very rare that you see a private charter being flown from Eugene, Oregon to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, the day of a certain coach being retiring. So.
I mean, I wouldn't mind an interview. Just a little interview.
That's what it at least looks like.
Just an interview.
Lane put out a post about Nick being the GOAT. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, you gotta love where you came from.
Yep.
But no, Georgia's going to be the best. I think should be the best odds. I think Ohio State has the second best odds. I think Ohio State's not going away anytime soon. It just depends on what Ryan Day does. Michigan's a big question mark because you don't know what direction this team's about to go into. You don't know if Jim's going to stay another year to go defend a national title. You don't know if he's going to go into the NFL. You don't know where this team's direction's going right now. So we really have to see. But I do like the odds of Georgia opening up as the favorites.
Yeah, I agree with it. They have the quarterback coming back. They've got Kirby. They've got all these players. With Alabama losing Nick, it's, I would obviously have said that they should be in that top 3 at least. Bringing back Milroe and so a good bit of talent with retooling through the portal and through recruiting.
Malachi
Moore, that's a big one to come back more.
It's a big one, dude. I
liked that one, but when you really look at it, who else is bringing back a lot of talent, as much talent? And for me, when you really look at it, Georgia and Texas are probably bringing back the most talent because they're bringing back their quarterbacks. So, Texas is losing a good bit to the draft, but Georgia is too. Everyone loses to the draft. So, for me, it's interesting. I'm intrigued by. I'm intrigued by how these odds shift as the offseason progresses. If Alabama gets a big-time head coach, does that rocket them back up to 2, So, it's interesting. It really is super, super, super intriguing to see where these odds kind of move as this offseason progresses, with all the craziness we've had so far into this offseason. So, listen,
telling me.
I know you know, bro. So, but at the end of the day,
it's not even the one guy to retire.
You're right. So, yeah, literally. So, that bleeds right into it. Kevin Steele, defensive coordinator of Alabama, retired too.
Defensive coordinator for Alabama retires too, man. We're 2 for 2 in the retirement poll right now.
That should have told us right there when the defensive coordinator called it quits. We should have been like, all right. So. Come on.
No, obviously not. If the defensive coordinator retires, it's because he was retiring, bro. I don't think that leads into Nick Saban. That's not even the conversation, bro.
He was the one, remember when I think it was meeting.
Rose Bowl, he said who's the real defensive coordinator? It's Nick Saban. Yeah, that doesn't mean jack shit to me. Nick Saban probably called it half the time because you were struggling. But, at the end of the day, man, Kevin Steele was old as well.
Yeah,
He is also one of the best one of the best like coordinators out there in college football, and what he's been able to do for Alabama this year, what he did for Miami when he was over there as well. It's going to be different though, because I mean, this is where Alabama starts now. Alabama's in the rebuild phase. Once again, we have not seen this since 2006.
It's not even rebuild. It's uncertainty. You haven't had uncertainty since Nick Saban's been there. Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't. We haven't been uncertain, as you said, and hopefully we can get a good defensive coordinator. I wouldn't mind, Mike Vrabel coming in. Bill Belichick. I heard him and the Patriots are starting to part ways. So Bill Belichick's always an option as well. If we can just hit elite talent in the coach, if we can hit elite talent in the portal and in recruits. But if we can get elite talent in coaching, then I don't really think there's going to be anything. There's not going to be as much worry in Tuscaloosa than there already is right now. Right now, everybody is just wanting to die. I'll be completely honest with you. Everybody is in states of depression and sadness.
Dude just if blew we can his knee out for Marquette, absolutely just destroyed his knee. That was so nasty.
Oh, that's bad. That's nasty. But if we could just get elite coaching back at Alabama, starting with defensive coordinator, we already have Tommy Rees. I don't know what his future holds since Nick Saban's left, but if we can get an elite defensive coordinator, that's also another stepstone into getting back to what Alabama can continue to be.
Yeah, it's great defensive coordinator. He had y'all's defense playing as good as it's played in the last couple of seasons this year. So, retired. Hey, congrats. Go enjoy the palm trees and the beaches.
Hey, go enjoy it, man.
Hey, I'm jealous. So, hey, Bama, they'll get a guy. It just depends on who the head guy is, because once you get a head guy, then you can fill that role. So, I don't expect Bama to have cold feet. Like they're gonna fill these positions rather quick. You can't be without a head coach for too long, because that's when the portal gets hot. That's when recruits start backing out of commitments. So,
speaking of the portal, 30 days now. Alabama players have 30 days for the portal, and if they want to transfer or not, since this has happened. They have 30 days.
That's interesting. All right. Yeah. So
it's very interesting. I didn't know that was a rule. I didn't know they could do that.
That's actually pretty. That's among all the shitty rules.
I like it.
That's a great rule. That's a great rule.
I mean, your head coach just leaves. Yeah. You have 30 days to go into the portal. You can get in the portal if you want. You can look around, see what schools are offered you up. But I do like that rule. I think it's a nice rule, because especially the circumstances that it comes in as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. And listen, the players are going to leave. Players wanted to play for Nick. They're not going to be able to. It's just going to be a part of this transition. If you land, whoever you land, players are going to come with him. So that's the reality of hiring a guy at another university, bringing a guy that's going to bring guys with him. You kind of retool with those players, but it's going to be a crazy time for Bama fans, man, and we shall see. And I know another crazy thing that's about to happen to all fans is that 12-team playoff. And that's going to really wrap us up here for this college football news segment here. So the 12-team playoff is officially here. But at first, we have to talk about the era that the 14 playoff really was. Let's be honest, man. We've watched the BCS, but the college football playoff is really when we truly,
where we were at, dude. That was kind of like our FBS type of thing.
Yep.
We were there from the beginning, man. We saw the first team playoff come out: Florida State, Oregon, Ohio State, Bama, and just seen it progress so much throughout the 10 years that we had it.
Yep.
And there were some crazy moments during those times, man. What was your favorite moment during that 14 playoff, Nate?
Oh, we've talked about it before, man.
We got not your favorite moment, just like your favorite playoff era. Like talk about like the format, like which 14, like which playoff did you enjoy the most?
Okay, I like that. Okay, oh man,
Like not a certain play, just like the 4 teams that were in it and like what you loved about that.
This year's was pretty awesome.
This year's was fun. This year's was exciting.
This year's was like one of the first times in a minute where it's like anyone can win it. Anyone can win it.
Yeah. It's anybody's ball game.
I'd probably say oh, I can't remember the exact year off the top of my head.
Or the teams.
Georgia versus Oklahoma. That was probably my favorite.
Dude, that's mine too.
That was the most competitive it felt like because Georgia, wins by the skin of their teeth in an absolute classic against Oklahoma. Bama does their thing. Who'd y'all play? Clemson?
Clemson, yeah.
And y'all beat them pretty soundly.
Beat them in the Sugar Bowl, yeah. It was a big one.
And yeah, that one was like, that one was pretty awesome because you got the 2 best teams. The whole storyline with Bama in that game with Tua and winning that game against Georgia. I mean, it was just that was probably my favorite 4 teams, just the storylines. This year was probably like my most like anticipated I've had in a long time. Like for a guy that didn't have a team in it, I've only had one season where my team was in it with LSU in 19 and no one was beating that team. So I can't really say that was no one was beating that team. So, this year, this was probably the most anticipated I've been since like one of the first 2 because, you had the stretch where Bama and Clemson couldn't, stop facing each other. So you knew that was the matchup. You didn't know who was going to win, but you knew that was going to be the matchup. And then Bama does their thing as always, and Georgia kind of jumps into this thing now, and now it's kind of started to even out the playing field. This is the most anticipated I've ever been, but I'm gonna probably say that. Yeah, I'm gonna probably say that one that we both agree on, man.
I want to say that one, but I'll throw my second favorite one out since we both have the same one. I'll say the year that Jake Coker and Derrick Henry that playoff format was fun because then you had Clemson versus Oklahoma. That was a tough game. That was a fun game. Clemson won that one. Then you had Bama go up against Michigan State, which was a fun game at first, but then we tore it up, hand the ball off to Derrick Henry, let him do that. Smart. And it was the first meeting between Bama and Clemson. And that was probably one of my favorite national championship games to watch. It was the second year of the 14 playoff format, and it was just electric. It was fun. That championship game showed how dominant those 2 teams were going to be for a while, for a hot minute. So I'd have to say that one. That was 2016, 2017. I'll say that one.
Was it?
But that was 2016, 2017. The Georgia-Oklahoma game, that was 2018, 2019. I think that was like our senior year.
Okay. Man, I'll tell you, we've had some good moments, man. Had
some crazy moments.
What an era. What a freaking era. So, all right, man. I'll do it for college football news, man. Let's try and keep this thing rolling as we get into some recruiting and transfer portal news. There was a lot of stuff that happened in this. So we're going to try and just get through this. We got a lot to talk about here, and a lot more to talk about after this. So, let's start with recruiting. The number 1 player in the 2025 class, the quarterback himself, Bryce Underwood, made his commitment. He said he was going to commit at 4:30. Says dropping a video on social media. That did not happen. He made us wait for an extra 30 minutes. Finally goes live and makes his announcement. The internet was blowing up. It was trending like crazy. Hey, master, great, hey, power move for social media. Learning the game early. Love that. I was
power move for LSU though, man.
Yes, Bryce Underwood would commit to the LSU Tigers, and what a hell of a topper too. Well, not even a topper. It's just the beginning really with this class. So that really pushes LSU into number 1 in the 2025 recruiting class super early as well, obviously. So things are still going to be able to fluctuate. These guys, they haven't signed a letter of intent, so they are still available to be recruited by other coaches and other teams. So just the beginning of a process, but this marks LSU landing the number 1 quarterback, the number 1 receiver, and number 1 running back in that class, CDM. So I'll start us off here with LSU's efforts so far in recruiting, especially in this class, man. I mean, I'm impressed with Brian Kelly kind of, sticking to his word. I mean, he's He's speaking it into existence. He says, "Give me a team where I can recruit with anybody, and I can recruit. I cannot recruit anybody." And this is an instance where it's actually happening. Last year, or the 2024 class, this year's class that's coming in now, it was a little, I don't want to say disappointing. It was just, if you look at it on the surface level, you say 11th. Oh, that's not LSU football. But when you look at all the guys they got, you say, oh my God, they got this guy, they got this guy, they got this guy. Everyone's from Louisiana. Brian Kelly said this for his recruiting class, I'm winning the state. We hadn't won the state with Coach O. He said, I'm winning the state. We got to get back to our roots. We got to get our players in LSU. I love that. That's super smart. Great way to start your recruiting trail. Now he's going for the big swings. He's going out there, taking the dives at some of these big players, and he's landing so far. And like I said, any of these guys can leave. So for me, it's about, all right, you got the guys to commit. Now let's get these guys to sign. Now let's get these guys on campus. It's easy to commit now these days. I mean, these guys are still getting money thrown at them, I imagine, every single week. So phone calls after phone calls. But at the end of the day, from what I'm seeing so far, LSU's efforts, I love what I'm seeing from Brian Kelly. I love what I'm seeing from this staff. Bringing in more a new defensive coordinator now with new defensive coaches. That will help with recruiting. So I expect LSU to start taking some big swings on the defensive side of the ball now in the 2025 recruiting class. But Bryce Underwood right now as an LSU Tiger, I'm feeling pretty good. That guy's an absolute monster.
Hey, man, take it where you can get it, man. And, it's a big recruit, You got as you said, number one quarterback, number one wide receiver, number one running back. So for right now, it looks like the future for your team is loaded on the offensive side of the ball. As you said before, hitting in Louisiana. Louisiana has got sneaky talent in that state, and nobody wants to admit it. Okay, it's all about Texas, it's all about California, Florida, Georgia. It's all about those teams. It's all about those, but nobody really thinks about Louisiana and the talent that they have down there. Arch Manning from Louisiana, balling. I mean, he's going to be a baller when in the next coming years if he stays at Texas. But Brian Kelly is starting off his dynasty at LSU on the right track, getting these types of recruits, showing that, yes, I'm planning for not just now, but for the future of this organization, for the future of my coaching career as well, that I'm able to come out here and compete and recruit with the best of the best in the SEC. Because, last year's recruiting class wasn't like breathtaking. It wasn't what you expected from him in his second year. But now hitting off like this, as you said, taking the big shots at these big-time names, at these big players that you see have NFL talent written all over them at a young age. So he's hitting off to the right track as well. If he continues this, he's going to be seeing himself at the top of the SEC with Georgia, possibly Ole Miss right now and what Lane's doing. I mean, him and Lane Kiffin right now are going toe-to-toe in recruits. Like, Lane's killing it in the transfer portal. Brian Kelly's killing it in the recruit class right now for 2025. I mean, he's starting to expand his way into the SEC, showing like, the first couple of years were baby steps. These next coming up years are going to be, I'm going to come and hit you in the mouth with everything that I've got. So I like the way that he's starting off right now. If he keeps doing what he's doing, as I said, he's going to see himself at the top of the SEC sooner rather than later. Do I like seeing LSU hitting recruits? Obviously not, come to Bama. But at this point, please come to Bama. But LSU's starting off pretty good with Brian Kelly and his recruiting class process. So keep doing what you're doing, and hopefully it pays out for you in the near future.
Yeah, man. I mean, hell of a way to start this class off, and like what you said, just the beginning. So, but let's look at some players in the transfer portal. This isn't. By the way, college basketball news. TCU looking like they might beat Oklahoma. And Butler looks like they might be beating Marquette. So, absolutely insane night of basketball. Again.
The last 2 days of college basketball, where's March when you want it, dude? Where's March when you need it?
You telling me, man. It's I I love this. I love this sport, man. I love all these sports in college.
I love college sports.
They just
so
don't hold back, dude. Ole Miss is absolutely dominating. All right, so yeah, looks like those are our last ranked matchups of the night. But yeah, man. I mean, let's see what happens early on. But like I said, let's move on to some of these guys in the transfer portal that will be playing next year for these teams. Biggest surprise, I'd probably say, of the entire offseason. Judkins, Ole Miss running back, out and is transferring to the Ohio State Buckeyes. CDM, give me your thoughts on the move, man.
I thought it was solidified that he was the running back, dude. Like he was gonna be that guy at Ole Miss. But then I started looking at some reports that came out on Twitter about the Peach Bowl and how him and Jackson Dart and some of the other players just weren't getting along with him. They weren't seeing eye to eye. They didn't have good chemistry. Those were some of the reports that came out as well. I don't think him and Lane Kiffin had any falling out, had any beef. I think it was just him and the players as well. But Lane doesn't fall for that. You saw what he did to that recruit when he came out about his mental illness. He said, "Get out! Like you're done. Like you're not going to talk to me for 2 weeks. Like get out." He doesn't play around with that, dude. Lane's not here for that. So I don't like that he left because as I said before, I thought he was going to be that guy. Him and that offense is dirty. But now he goes to Ohio State, which is weird because Ohio State is Henderson going into the draft? Trayvon Henderson?
See, that's the thing is he has not made an announcement yet. So
yeah, that's first off, if you have both of them in the backfield next year, oh my God, that's dirty. That's like your that's like your 1-2 punch right there in the backfield. If you have Henderson and Judkins right there, Will Howard's gonna have it easy. Now, the offensive line's got to be able to sustain blocks, but it's really confusing to me because I thought that him and Ole Miss would have that connection, that he would leave Ole Miss for the draft and be an Ole Miss Rebel. But it's also a huge pickup for Ohio State as well. You got to look at it as like Ohio State just got another stud. In case Henderson leaves, you just put him right back in that offense. And this dude can do everything. He can catch, he can run routes, he can bulldoze you in the hole. He's a good athlete. He's a good player. So we'll see what happens next season for him and the Buckeyes and that offense. Ryan Day just got a stud. So don't mess this up. You're already in the hot seat right now for your coaching. So, continue doing this into the portal and get players like him, and your offense is going to be back where it was a couple years ago with CJ Stroud and that dominant wide receiving core and your dominant run game as well.
Yeah. Plus they got Seth McLaughlin.
Did you see what I put on Twitter?
Oh God, I don't want to know.
Oh no, it wasn't bad. I just put on Twitter when he posted that he was leaving. I commented on his post. I said, "I'm praying for Will Howard right now. I'm gonna pray for Will Howard next year, bro. I'm gonna pray. Hopefully they just don't move. Hopefully they just move him from center to like guard, like moving to guard, because this man is not a center. This man's not a center at all. Like, oh my gosh, no."
Carson, I'm seeing you go through it on social media right now. I'm going through your Twitter. I'm sorry, Carson.
Hey, man, I just wanted to let you know, any Georgia fan out there, you can be happy all you want, but just remember, you're 1-5 against Nick Saban, and you're his puppies. So, just look at it like that. You could say Kirby did all this and that, but last time I checked, Kirby's got a 1-5 record against Nick Saban. And who was Nick Saban's last win as an Alabama head coach? Please tell me. I think it was the Georgia Bulldogs. Disgusting. What did I say? Yep.
There it is.
Yep. I'm praying for him, dude, because this dude is a bum. This dude's ass cheeks.
Yeah, but man. Money. That's all I'll say.
Money speaks now. Money speaks, man.
That's the only thing that makes sense,
whoever
man.
throws you the biggest bag right now, you're gonna take it. No hesitation about it.
Yeah, and I didn't know about the whole entire situation where apparently a lot of players weren't seeing eye to eye. Which, if that's the thing, hey, mutually part ways. If he needs a fresh start, you don't need a fresh start. Get him out of the building. Ole Miss is They have their sights on something massive, and Ohio State always has their sights on something massive. So it's a good. If that's the case, that's a good move for both teams, both guys, both entities.
Ooh. Ohio State versus Ole Miss in the 12-man playoff next year.
Oh, please.
Ole Miss comes out on top. Just saying.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not rooting for Ohio State.
SEC.
All right, let's talk about a guy that's definitely not going to the SEC as he withdrew from the transfer portal. Kaidon Salter. I think that's how you say it. Kaidon Salter from Liberty decides to stay at home with the Flames. Curious to what that decision came down to. CDM, thoughts on the decision to stay? You got any speculations why that may have happened?
Well, I mean, we talked about it last week. I said Auburn was the place, but I also found it weird that he was entering the portal.
Yeah.
But something's talking to me like, they threw a bag at this dude. They had to throw something at him to make him stay.
Yeah. Or nobody was throwing the bag. Maybe no one was.
Maybe nobody wanted him. Maybe nobody saw the potential that he has. I mean, this dude, in my opinion, if you look at him, he's got NFL talent written all over him.
He's got some skills.
He's got some skills, dude. He may be better than Malik Willis was at Liberty himself. I think he's going to be 10 times better than him because he could do a lot more with his arm than Malik could do with his legs. Malik was just a dual thread. This guy can thread the needle. He can sit in the pocket and take time and just find everything. He's got wheels too, but he uses them at the last second. That's the thing.
Yep.
He usually tries to he tries to do it with his arm. I like it though. I like it. As you said before, when you got to see him play against Southern, he's a dog. I think he's in the right place right now to boost his draft stock a little bit more. And who knows, maybe next year, if the season doesn't play out like the way you hope it does, because I mean a group of 5 team does make the playoffs next year as the last seed, depending on where they're at. And so, I mean, he could see himself in a college football playoff game next year. Who knows?
To the top.
Oh, dear God, no. He's not going to Southern. Oh, my Lord, no. Somebody put on Twitter about Will Hall going to Alabama. I said, God, no. Oh, my God, no.
Only man that can save this team.
I swear, I think it was something like that. And I was just like, nope, that's not what's happening. But no, I like this. I like his decision to stay back. I think he's in the right spot in his career to really boost his draft stock a lot more. And as I said before, if next year doesn't play out, the portal's still going to be there, man. Yep. You just ball out this year and show everybody what you're going to be able to do in a bigger conference. But I like the decision to stay. I think it's really good that Liberty was able to keep that playmaker like him on that offense.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. He's a hell of a player, and for Liberty to keep him around after the season they had, like you said, why not take a run at these playoffs, man? You have an opportunity. If Salters he might have thought that. He might have said, all right, these are the teams that are offering. Do I have a better chance to make a playoff with this team or squeeze into that 12 seed and go undefeated again? I know going undefeated twice in a row, nearly undefeated. They lost Oregon, obviously, but pretty much going undefeated the entire season, that's hard. That's really hard. And for him to kind of, say, I'm going back here. That's it's a pretty awesome thing for him to do. So shout out to Salters. We'll see what Liberty can do next season as they ease on. Oh, geez, CDM. Oh,
sorry, my camera went down a little bit. I heard the snap.
Oh, look at Lady over there. There we go. All right.
Yeah, she's knocked out right now.
I need to bump it up just a little bit. Just a little bump
it up a little bit more. Oh my God, we went through this too many times already.
Look at this guy. Unprofessional, man. Jeez.
Unprofessional. I'm sorry they just snapped. Okay.
Perfect. There we go.
Get back to what you were saying, brother.
No, yeah, I pretty much just wrapped it up like, hey, I'm proud. I'm happy he's going back home. That's nice to see, kind of with the world we're in with the transfer portal, the new NIL world, like interesting to see a guy with his skills to kind of stick around. So kind of like it. Yeah. I kind of like it. A little bit of an old school approach there. So
speaking of another quarterback, though, USC former quarterback Malachi Nelson has transferred to Boise State, has gotten Malachi Nelson from the portal. Thoughts on that move, Nate? And how do you think that's going to play out for him in his career?
Yeah, man. First of all, when you sent this, I was a little shocked. So, no, Boise State, of all teams. And then you think about it, you look at their schedule, you say, okay, I mean, hey, he might be onto something, really. Like, I told you, when it comes to a Malachi Nelson, when it comes to these recruits that come out of out of high school with unreal expectations, he picks USC. Immediately, people are saying, oh, he's the next Caleb Williams. He's going to take over. He's going to be that guy. And those expectations can just kill a guy. A perfect example of this is Dante Moore that was at UCLA last year. The expectations got the best of him, and it wasn't his fault. It literally was, he was just not ready, and people thought that he was beyond ready, and that's just not the case sometimes. And I feel like with Malachi, I think he took a second and thought about this. You know, I watched what Caleb does. Caleb is an NFL elite quarterback. You know, he will be in the league for a very long time. I know what skill set it takes to be an NFL quarterback. I watched one all season. I imagine he took that into part. I imagine Boise State is, being pretty generous with that offer, and day one starter, doesn't have to compete for the job. There's a lot of factors that played on top of this. So for me, love the move from Malachi. Shout out to Boise State to going out there and getting a guy. Apparently,
shout out to the Broncos, man, getting yourself a guy for the future.
Yeah, I mean,
because he's got like 3-4 years of eligibility,
dude, and it's hard. It is hard to get a quarterback, let alone a 5-star recruit quarterback on your team. Mm-hmm. I know there's guys that just can't figure it out and they bounce around, but it's hard now with the NIL, with recruits, with transfer portal. I mean, it is a tough time to get quarterbacks on teams, especially like Boise State. So shout out to the Broncos, like you said, and we're rooting for him. We've been Malachi Nelson fans since he was recruited. So,
and I like the move as well. As you said before, I feel like everybody's expected him to fill the big shoes that Caleb Williams is leaving behind. Yeah, I mean, Heisman winner. Didn't win his conference, didn't win a national title. So is this resume really that good? Let's really look at it that way. Yeah, a Heisman winner, but what else did he really do? I mean,
hey, listen,
cheeks, bro.
Let's not put this on Caleb. His coach is Lincoln Riley.
Hey, it's Lincoln Riley. It's the defense's fault. But no, I think, as you said, a good comparison about Dante as well. Go somewhere else and start your own legacy. Start your own build to be the best player that you are. And Boise State's a good place to land. They're still in the Mountain West. They don't have to play against the best competition, but it's going to be competition that it's still D1. It's still you're still going to be playing against some of the best out there, but it's not going to be SEC or Big Ten or ACC, anything like that. But it's going to give him a chance to show people hey, I'm not Caleb Williams. I'm not going to play like Caleb Williams. I'm Malachi Nelson. I'm going to show you what my skill tree is like, what my skills are like on the field, and what I can do, and show people why I can be a better quarterback possibly than Caleb Williams is right now. I'm not saying that he's going to go out there and just outshine and, be better than Caleb Williams, but I'm saying that he can be close to the tier that Caleb is in right now. Because, from what we've seen through his high school career, this dude can do everything. And I'm talking about everything. He's got elite arm talent. He's got a cannon too. He can launch that thing. He's got sneaky speed and good wheels as well. Good job breaking down defenses, good eyes, a good patience in the pocket. The dude has got all the tangibles of being an NFL quarterback. Now, go out there and show us what you can do now. And that's exactly what he's going to do. As you said, Boise State doesn't have to compete for the job. It's going to be a nice start for him in his new career, in his a new start in his football career, as I was saying. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yes, it is. We're rooting for him, man. Shout out to Malachi. All right, let's move on.
Shout out to Malachi.
Let's move on to a guy that plays for that. Oh, he's the brother of the guy right behind you.
Brother of this guy right here?
Yeah, they said it. I think it's Talia.
I've said that all year long, Nathan, if you have corrected me about saying his name. Swear to God you have. I have said Talia, and you said it's Talia. No, it is Talia Tagovailoa. Thank you very much. Point that up.
Guess that's how you say it, according to Carts. That's how you say it. He is a weird situation. Requested from the NCAA, put in a waiver for an extra year of eligibility. Still not sure if he's going to be granted that, but apparently he's going on visits. So maybe the NCAA's told him something. So let's live in a world where he's available to go somewhere, CDM. Where would Italia land in the transfer portal, you think?
I want to say either I've got a couple of teams in mind, but I want to say Miami is definitely on the board for a quarterback. South Carolina is also right there as well, since they do lose Spencer to the draft. And then I want to say UCLA as well.
I like that. Yeah,
I think going to either one of those schools, I mean, yes, you have Cristobal, who's, Miami, it's been rough. It's been rough with him there, but he also has not gotten the, he's not gotten the team that he had at Oregon, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But with a quarterback like that, you'll be able to do something. You'll be able to get recruits around him and be able to play a lot better as a football team. South Carolina's right there. It's in the SEC. Easily, you do have to go up against Georgia and Florida and Missouri, who's not going to be any slouch coming into next year. But they are going to need a veteran quarterback. They're going to need some elite talent back there. So I think that could be a possible landing spot. And then UCLA, after losing Dante Moore, you don't really have you don't have a legit guy on who you think is going to be there starting next season. So if I'm them and he's able to, and if he is available to go into the portal, I would say UCLA probably throws the bigger bag on him, and then possibly Miami as well. And then South Carolina just sits over there and just watches everything break down, possibly can go after him as well.
Yeah, I like that. It feels like there's one team that's just in the play for a quarterback still that hasn't landed a guy, even though they technically did, I guess. I gotta
Nebraska.
Go. Nebraska. Let's go. No, we're gonna go Miami here as well. It feels like they missed out on some big names, and if Talia is available, why not? The ACC is another conference that can be won. They're bringing in some new teams as well, but I've got a good feeling about the ACC's competitive field next season. It feels like we're going to have some pretty good teams competing against each other. So why not Talia? I like Talia in Miami. Why not? Obviously.
Yeah, and who knows? Dabo Swinney's going to be, in crimson and white next year. So, Clemson may not be around.
Yeah. Who knows? Hey, we're gonna take a quick little break here. We're gonna take a quick little break, and then we'll be right back with some college basketball reaction. I gotta handle something real quick. We got a technical difficulty, so 1 sec. And we're back, everybody. Hello. Sorry about that. That just took a second to handle, but we have returned, and now we got to talk about some college basketball. Oh, yeah. Hoops. It's time.
It's getting to that time of year, ladies and gentlemen. College Kings football edition has come to an end for now. Now we go into the next sporting event that's coming up. We're getting ready for March Madness, and we just talked about it a little bit in the pod, but we're going to talk to you about it right now. We had, in the span of 2 days, 4 teams in the top 5 go down. And we're going to start off with number 2 Houston going down to the Iowa State Cyclones, ending their undefeated season. Insane. I did my little research. I didn't really get to watch the game a lot at work, but from what I saw, Iowa State's leading scorer had 14 points. That's
57 points. 57 points to win.
Yeah, 57 points, and your leading scorer had 14 of them. I think Houston just collapsed. I think they just collapsed because basketball, it's any given day. It's any given day that you can be the number 1 team and then you just lose to just some bum team that you've never heard of before. Iowa State's someone that you've heard of before, but it's also surprising that Houston just let him come in and just whoop them. Well, not whoop them, but just surprise them, shock the nation at least.
Yeah, and it's one thing if they had 5 double figure scores or something. They only had 2 guys in double figures. They had the 14 points from Lipsy, and then I'm not even going to try that guy's Mom Solovic. Yep.
Don't hurt yourself.
We're gonna do that. But he only had 11. So, and they didn't go crazy from three. Dude. They only made 3 threes. You know, it was a defensive game. It was a massive defensive game in this one, and you know, and that's what Houston really predicates themselves on this season. You know, I was looking at stats like they're a defensive team. They've been for the past few years. So that's where I was like, oh, yeah, low scores. That doesn't surprise me. I'm not going to come out and say that I've been watching this team all season or anything. But, you know, I knew in past years and a little bit this year that, okay, this team, you know, they play defense. They're not going to score that many points. I mean, right here, they allow 50 points a game. So they're in the range where they allow points. It's just they also average, and they only average 75 points per game, which is 180 seconds. So they don't score a lot. They haven't really all season, and so it wasn't shocking to see them low scoring, but for them to lose to Iowa State, it's got to be a little something. Because I mean, like you said, I mean, Iowa State's,
sour taste in your mouth at least.
Iowa State's 12-3, so they're not the worst. It's not like you're losing to some absolute bums, but it's a little shocking to see. You know, you go out there and take this L. Houston's been a wagon, so they'll be fine. They'll probably still rank number 1 with everyone losing around them pretty much. UConn was the only top 5 team that didn't lose today. They handled their business as they had beat the oh my gosh. I was literally just watching the game. Xavier, they handled their business. Only a 5-point win, though, so it was another good one. Xavier has not really had that great of a season, but UConn is at number 4. So, yeah, hey, I didn't watch the game, but I watched some of those highlights. I wasn't able to watch the Iowa State win over Houston, but watch those highlights. I know a little bit about Houston this season, so wasn't shocked by the low score, but was shocked they couldn't pull it off, you know, so Houston, they'll respond. But another team that lost, I was able to watch this one, is the number 1 team in the country, Purdue.
Yeah, I'm on that one right now.
The Boilermakers.
That's insane because Purdue's been around at number 1 for the past couple of years, man. Yeah. I mean, they've been producing NBA talent, top lottery picks for sure.
Yep.
As I said before, they've been around. They've been around for a while. They know what it takes. Now, can they take this to a national championship game? Is my question. They've never reached the final. I don't think they've reached the Final Four in a minute. I don't think they reached the Final Four last year. I think they got booted out either the Sweet. Actually, no, they got booted out in the opening rounds last year, bro. I think it was in the 64 or 32. They got booted out.
I think so. I wanted to see. So the furthest they've ever been, they've never been champs. They were the runner-ups in 69, and then so the furthest they went was 2022. They went to the Sweet 16. But last year they made an appearance, and then they lost. So they didn't make it to the round of 32. Yeah, so you were right. So the furthest they've ever been, they've technically made it to a championship, but that was back in 69. Most recent Elite 8 appearance was in 19. So yeah, I mean the past 10 years they've been pretty good. They've been pretty good at basketball.
They've been around. It's just they can't get over that hump. And see, Purdue's leading scorer last night, Mason Gillis, 16 points, 5 of 12 from the field, 1 of 2 from the free throw. And then Nebraska's leading scorer, I'm going to say Tominage. I'm not going to pronounce this dude's first name. He's a guard. 19 points, 5 of 12 from the field, 4 of 4 from the free throw line. So dude was automatic. Dude was not letting that slide at all.
Dude,
looking at all this other stuff as well, Nebraska shot 50%, almost 60% from the field compared to Purdue's 42. Purdue had 14 turnovers compared to Nebraska's 9 turnovers.
I'm going to show you something real quick, CDO. I'm about to show you something.
What's up?
No. Go back. I'll show you.
No, but they, while you show me that, the turnover problem for Purdue was just not going away at plan. 14 turnovers to 9 turnovers. And in basketball, every possession counts, just like football. Every possession counts, especially when it gets to crunch time moments as well.
Here you go. This is Tominage. Bop. Drano.
Wet.
He did that all night, dude. All night. Absolute stud.
Dude
Stud.
balled out.
The Japanese, bro. That's where he's from. He's from Japan. I love that.
Oh, that's even. Oh, dude, that's awesome, bro.
Love it. This is my
awesome.
favorite. This is the picture I was trying to find. This is it right there. Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, that's if I'm him, I'm making that my screensaver,
Dude,
bro.
that's what I was saying, bro.
Like, if I'm him, I'm making that my screensaver.
I love
Absolutely.
I love
But
it.
no, Purdue going down and Houston going down is big. Then you have number 5 Tennessee losing today against Mississippi State.
Yeah, I was watching.
Very big win for the Bulldogs as well.
Yeah, man. I mean, watching because Tennessee, they've got some players that I actually knew, Ziegler and Connect, and those guys are dogs, and they played like dogs. 28 and 26 from those two guys, but not much help from other players. I see Adu only had 9 points. James only 3. Awaka, 4 points. He had 5 personal fouls. A lot of fouls being thrown around. 20 fouls. Okay, well, the other team, State had 16. But,
Good Lord.
I want to shout out freaking this guy for Mississippi State. Tolu Smith, man. He's a boy from Bay St. Louis, so hometown boy.
That name sounds so familiar.
He is an absolute animal, man, and he showed out. He showed out, and put up about 20. He put up 23 points. Josh Hubbard, he was an absolute dog.
25, 8 of 15,
Madison,
4 of 6
Mississippi.
from the line.
Madison, Mississippi, another kid in state. So a lot of hometown boys played some amazing ball in their biggest game of the season, and quiet 12-3 from Mississippi State. As this team,
real.
You want to know who this Tennessee team beat last game? They beat the snot out of an undefeated Ole Miss team at the time. Yeah, that's what they did.
Ole Miss was undefeated?
Yeah, Ole Miss has been really good at basketball this year. Has been really good at basketball, and then now
I see the women's are doing good too. They beat LSU.
They beat the crap out of Florida today, bro. They put up 103, dude. Ole Miss did. This team can score
today?
The rock. Yes.
Good Lord. Oh, number 3 Kansas loses to UCF.
Yep.
USF, my bad. Yeah,
No,
Kansas.
it's UCF.
Yeah, so you've had number 1, number 2, number 3, number 5, number 9.
11. Didn't 11 lose?
Number 11
Clemson.
And let's see.
Clemson
Memphis
lost.
pulled it out. Memphis pulled it out in overtime against UTSA. They won 107 to 101.
Clemson
Oklahoma
lost 21.
Clemson did lose today. Oklahoma lost to TCU by 9,
That's
80
who it
to
was.
7.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then Butler beat Marquette 69 to 62.
That's right.
Yeah, the top 10,
Marquette,
top 10 right now is just imploding on itself. The only top, like as you said, the only top 10 teams that have won so far today were UConn and North Carolina. It's funny because North Carolina could be on the come up again. Who knows?
Hey, bro, never count them out. We actually have an amazing game on Saturday. I think I saw it when I was Yeah, we have Kansas and Oklahoma's playing on Saturday, so that's
really
massive basketball game. Probably one of the biggest of the year so far. If you don't include those those little in-season tournaments that we get, those special games. So, yeah, I mean,
other than that, there's
crazy.
not really many big games.
Yeah,
honestly, besides that one,
we're in conference play now, so you're going to see a lot more of those conference games and teams playing against each other. But that's the crazy part. We're already in conference play. Like that's when the season's kind of all right. We're picking up.
That's when everything's starting to pick up. February is a short month. February's a short month when it comes to March Madness, man. February is going to fly by so fast, and the next thing you know, March Madness is going to be there waiting on us.
Yes, sir. So we kind of gave you all a little bit of an idea of what what's going on in college basketball. So CDM, a quick little question. We're getting into it, so don't hold us to these opinions. We're trying to get into this sport a little bit more every single day. But we love basketball. We're just not experts in college basketball yet. So, CDM, real quick, who is your favorite team so far? Just your favorite.
I'm going to go with the Kentucky Wildcats, man. Sticking with the SEC, it's been since, we were talking about it. It's been since 2012, since the last time they won a national title. And I really think sooner or later they're going to be on the way. They're going to be on their way to possibly winning another national title. It's been too long. I think that they can get it done. They're one of the top. One of the top teams in the SEC besides Tennessee. I think they can get it done for sure. I think they can honestly win the division. I think they can win the SEC as well.
I like
So
that.
give me time. So give me as Nate said, give us time. We're getting out of our college football groove. We're going to be coming into college basketball. So give us some time, and we'll figure out everything on we'll figure out everybody's names, stats, everything on that. But I'm going to take Kentucky at the moment to go win it all this year.
Yeah, man, I love Kentucky. I've watched them probably more than most teams this season, so it's kind of hard for me not to pick them as well. I mean, their offense is elite, and every single time I watch them, they somehow, they're in good games, and then all of a sudden they're not good games. So I
watched them play Missouri last night, and it was close at first, but then Kentucky just ran away with it.
Yeah, and so Kentucky's awesome. North Carolina, love Caleb Love, over there. Not Caleb Love. He left there. RJ Davis is the guy I was thinking that's there. Arizona is the team that has Caleb Love now. I love Caleb Love, so I do like Arizona, but North Carolina is another team with RJ over there. Another team that I think people, I've been hearing keep an eye on. So it was Baylor Bears.
Baylor Bears, man, I've got to watch a couple of games this season, and their defense, dude, is just their perimeter defense is dirty, bro. They don't let anybody They don't let anybody in the box, dude. It's insane.
And they're scoring the piss out of the ball, dude. Jeez, they're scoring. They're almost averaging 90 points a game, man.
Yeah, dude, they are insane.
They're buckets. They got players, and I love Kentucky because they score the rock, man, and they've got some young talent.
Man, they're only 13-2 as well, and they're at 14. I understand there's a lot of good teams, but 13-12 right now. They're looking good.
Auburn's a quiet team too, man. I mean, just them being back is kind of crazy. Their only losses are. Well, they did lose to App State, but they lost to Baylor as their first loss of the season. Was their first game of the season they lost. So,
wow, yeah, I'm looking 88-82.
And then Baylor's only two losses are Duke and Michigan State. Like those, not bad losses. So,
not bad losses at all. Speaking of Duke, man, Duke's still right there as well. I mean, even though they don't have coach on their staff. They're still a threat to college basketball.
Oh yeah, they are, bro. So, like we said, don't hold us to it. We're gonna keep an eye on all these sports and in college and try to do our best to cover them the best we can and give you all reactions and opinions. But that'll about do it for college basketball, and that will lead us into a little bit of tease here, CD. I think we're.
Don't be like that. Don't be like NCAA. Don't tease the people. Give the people what they want, Nate. We gotta give the people what they want.
Yeah, if we're gonna say it, we're gonna do it, and we're gonna say it right here, right now. The return of the College Kings / Pound Perspective Draft Podcast is here. Last year it was just the Pound Perspective. Now we're getting the two pods to combine for the draft as we look as it progresses. We're not going to hold back. We're not going to wait this time. We're going to start as soon as possible. So there's that being said, you can expect us to maybe take a week off, get prepared to kind of launch this thing, but from the start of it, we're going to try our best to weekly put out content of this podcast that will lead us into the draft. This thing will have us giving y'all our best players week by week, position by position, teams we want to look at, highlight, and guess what? Mock drafts are back, baby. Mock drafts are back, and we're going to be giving you all ours, all right?
Good God, dude, mock drafts are so hard. They're so hard, bro. Could you the worst thing, but also the best thing about mock drafts is you get to predict trades that are going to happen. You predict players on where they could go for trade picks, for pick trades as well. I mean, mock drafts are so fun, but damn it, they are so hard to figure out if they're going to be right or wrong because you'll never get it right.
No.
I mean, we all know who's going to be the first overall pick. It just depends on who gets that first overall pick.
Yeah, because that's the thing.
Chicago's not keeping that.
It's like that's one trade before, but then trades in the dang draft. Like last year, no one predicts Texans moving up to where they did to draft Will Anderson after C.J. Stroud. No one predicted that. No one ever.
Yeah, nobody predicted that.
So
nobody predicted the Falcons to go after B. John Robinson.
There you go. That one felt a little. Yeah. That one felt a little shaky at the end. Like there was kind of rumbles, but
Oh, and then and then this, letting Jalen Carter fall to Philadelphia.
Yep. I mean, there's so many things that it's crazy. It's such a beautiful, beautiful time when the draft comes around, and we'll be giving y'all as much content as possible when it comes to the draft with the combination of College Kings and the Pound perspective. But I'm gonna give you all a little bit of a tease. This isn't just telling y'all about it. We're gonna give you all a little tease of how we're feeling about this draft. Got a lot of amazing players, CDM. Players that still haven't even opted into the draft, but the best have already done so. And we know who these best players are. So CDM, let's send it to you first here. Who is your top 5 players? I'm not asking you for top 5 picks. I'm asking your top 5 ranked players right now, not in any order, just a little bit of feeling of those top 5 guys.
Top 5 players right now that I think are my top 5 players, as you said. At 1, I'm going to take Caleb Williams. Generational talent. I think once he gets into the NFL, everybody is going to be not shocked, but it's going to be awesome to see him use his talents that we've seen in college, but even 10 times better than he was in college. So Caleb Williams at 1. Brock Bowers. I mean, who's not ready to see that guy in the NFL? Who's not ready to see what an offensive coordinator and a head coach can do with the type of player he is, who can just line up at tight end and block down or go out wide and just catch passes and just moss people. So Brock Bowers. At 3, I got Marvin Harrison Jr. It's just the name speaks for itself. I mean, it's kind of like Rolls Royce, it's kind of like Rolex, kind of like Louis Vuitton. The name speaks for itself. And his name, I mean, you can't help but just look at him. You can just tell that man he is going to be a generational wide receiver, probably one of the best wide receivers in the league in the next coming up years. At number 4, I got Joe Alt, offensive tackle from Notre Dame. They are offensive line U. Nobody can, tell me that otherwise. They just produce offensive linemen left and right, and he's one of the best, if not the best tackle. I did go look at some prospects, and I saw this offensive line class is loaded with talent. Like, I mean, the top 3 offensive linemen that you're getting, they're going to be day 1 starters, probably take over the offensive line in their near career. So Joe Alt at 4, and then at number 5, I have Dallas Turner. I think Dallas Turner is the best defensive player in the draft right now. He's proved it at Alabama. You could see it. I mean, people don't like the dirty hits that he has. I mean, just suck it up, Buttercup. They're not dirty. I mean, Jaden Daniels just got hit one time and, oh, my God, send him to the hell. I don't know. But Dallas Turner he is going to be a Sunday day 1 starter. The pass rush that he has, the ability to get off the ball fast enough and get around the tackles, go in there and, create havoc for our offenses. So that's who I have. Those are my top 5 players. How about you, Nate? Who are your top 5 players going into this draft class?
Yeah, man, it's such a talented class, and like we said, this is our super early top 5, so things are subject to change. But for right now, I'm feeling pretty confident about my top 5 as I lean into this. I'm gonna start, like we said, neither of us have these in order, but Marvin Harrison Jr.'s got to be in that top 5. He's got to be in the top 5. He is the most talented player in this draft class. Will be the first non-quarterback off the board. We all understand how these drafts go. The quarterbacks go first, even though they're not the best players, and then we start seeing the actual prospects go. Quarterback is number 1 position in the league, though. Everyone knows that. So I'm going to give you all my players and then my quarterback. Actually, no, I'm just going to give my quarterback. Caleb Williams is my quarterback in this top 5. It is rare when you have a top 5 list, your top 5 players, when a quarterback is in there. It just shows his skill set that everyone believes he has. It's one of those things I want to see it still. Even though I know what he can do on a football field, I've seen it with my own eyes. He's a ridiculous player. Just so much potential, man. But I want to see him play at the NFL speed. I want to see him play at the NFL level. Caleb Williams is that guy, rightfully so, the number 1 quarterback. We might see some smoke screens, though. We might see some smoke screens. I don't think anyone's going before him when it comes to quarterbacks, but I think it's going to get a little loud.
As we said, I mean, that's where the draft and the mock drafts come in, dude. Because there's so many options. There's so many good quarterbacks behind Caleb Williams that are on the same elite level, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, Drake May, his potential is ridiculous. When you watch him play, it's just like, jeez, his highlights are just like, what? Who can do that? And then
he ain't doing half the stuff he's doing now in the NFL.
That's what I'm saying. Does it translate though? Can his play style translate? That's the question. And then Jaden Daniels is the prototype of all prototypes. And then there's other quarterbacks. Penix, he had the hell of a game in the Sugar Bowl. Bo, does JJ go in the draft? There's players, man. Oh God, there's players. There's a lot of quarterbacks, but when it comes to the guys, I think Caleb is the guy at number one when it comes to QB number one. Let's keep this thing rolling. My favorite offensive lineman, Olu Fashanu. That was on the money.
That was crisp. Right
Right,
that was
down
crisp
the pipe.
Right there, man. You got that one right.
I still got the fastball. That's Olu. We're going to keep calling him Olu throughout this process. Penn State, left tackle. I mean, watching him play this season in the few games I got to watch Penn State, you could just see that's an NFL player on the field right now.
He's just built like it, bro. He's big body boy.
He's master.
If I get down a 3-point stance and I look up at him, just imagine just a true freshman defensive end. You just get down and he's scared, terrified, done. But no, he is legit. Him and Joe Alt, in my opinion, are like the prototype, perfectly built offensive lineman that should already be in the NFL.
Yep. And then that leads me into my next guy, Joe Alt. he is a freaking animal as well. Like you said, they're lineman offensive lineman university. So, Joe Alt. I feel like those two guys, in my opinion, I know you didn't have Olu in there. Personally, in my opinion, those guys are top 5 locks for me. The other players might shift in and out, but right now, those two guys, I don't know. I don't see them leaving my top 5. That could happen, though. They could definitely leave my top 5. If something
just depends on what pro days and combines come out.
Exactly.
But as I told you before the pod, I'll tell the people, getting an offensive lineman is not a bad pick, because that, I take the Lions, for example, when they drafted Penny Sewell from Oregon. Boom. You get him, he starts something totally different. He brings a new vibe. You start from the trenches and you work up. Yep. And once you solidify your offensive line, then I think, in my opinion, sorry, I just burped.
Nasty.
Okay, in my opinion, getting an offensive lineman is not bad, because that's what I think. In my opinion, that starts a new tradition on your team. It starts to build chemistry from the offensive lineman, building chemistry for the defensive lineman as well. So getting an offensive lineman in the first round is solid. I think it's a great pick, but you have to pick the right one. And these two guys right here, and also CJ Latham as well. Once again, this offensive line class is so stacked too. I believe the top 3 guys in Olu, Alt, and Latham, they're going to be day one starters. They're going to be day one starters, and I think they're going to do the same thing Penny Sewell did, and that's go in there and change the culture of that team.
Oregon State guy. There
Washington, Georgia. There's a lot of great offensive linemen, dude. Miami.
We legitimately could see 3 offensive linemen in the first 10 picks. Legitimately,
I could see it. I think so too. I think, as you said, Joe Alt and Olu, I think they're locked top 5. I think they should be.
So. Got those guys in there, and then my last guy, I've had so much respect for him. I know he's coming off a couple of injuries and stuff, but God, what he's going to do in the NFL is insane. Brock Bowers. So excited for what he can and will do in the NFL. Just excited to see who drafts him. It's all about situation for a guy like that. So,
see, in my opinion, and another opinion of mine is I think he's going to be 10 times better than Kyle Pitts was. Everybody talks about how Kyle Pitts was so good in college. Last time I checked, Kyle Pitts didn't go and win 2 national titles. Last time I checked, Kyle Pitts doesn't block like a tight end does. Kyle Pitts is a glorified wide receiver that's just built like a tight end. Brock Bowers, he's like George Kittle, Travis Kelce, and I want to say David Njoku all mixed in one. Those are the 3 guys that I just see him embodied as.
Yeah, I just want to say this real quick. Totally off topic. Wembanyama put up a triple-double tonight.
First triple-double of his career?
I think so.
Oh, look at lanky man go. Look at that string bean go.
10 assists is crazy from a guy like that. Jesus.
No, dude, I was watching this stop topic, but it's about him. Somebody put a $1,500 bet on like him attempting 4 threes. And the first 3, bro, he said, brick. He's like, okay, there's one. Brick. He said, okay, I didn't say you had to make them, but like you can make them. The third one, he said, swish. He said, okay, bet. He bet. He got that 4th one, swish. He said, okay, one more, and I'm $1,500 richer. Gets that ball, brick. He said, boom, let's do it. $1,500. But back onto the top.
Yes. Hey, love that. That's it. Honestly, Wembanyama respect. That's a great way to end this pod. Even though he is, didn't even go to college.
Yeah, he went to France.
He was in France. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Never won a gold medal with him though.
No.
Hey, is it funny? Hey, is it actually funny that the 2024 Olympics is in Paris this year?
Oh. Wembanyama going home?
Yeah, duh. He's not playing for us.
Yeah.
Like, that's not even me being like that. Like, he's going to go play for France.
We're cooked.
Oh, dude. Oh, bro. Him and KD on the same team.
I was about to say, our team is about to be cooked this year, so.
Oh, you just say Braun, KD, Steph, Dame.
They're loading up.
I would say Giannis can't play, but damn, if Giannis was on the Team USA.
Apparently Joel Embiid is. I think he's going to claim America. He said that he's playing for America, so.
Oh, bro, when we have to play Jokic, that's going to be perfect matchup.
Thank God. All right. Let's get out of here, man. Let's get out of here. We're talking about the wrong sport. Hey, thank y'all for listening to College Kings once again. College Kings is going to stay alive because of y'all, because of us. We like to do this. We're doing this for y'all. We do it for us, but we just want to, keep this thing alive. It's been so much fun all year to kind of, progress through the year, man. And, as the college football season has ended and we get to see the other side of the business when it comes to college football, the recruiting, the new coaches and new places now. And, we'll get to kind of keep an eye on that as that keeps rolling along. But we'll also keep an eye on these other college sports. Basketball, baseball's around the corner. There's other sports in college that we won't mind diving into if y'all want us to. So shout out. Let us know if there's anything y'all want us to keep an eye on, and keep an eye out yourselves for some draft content sooner rather than later. We probably will not be back next week, but we will be back very, very soon.
Very soon. Appreciate everything, man.
Yes.
What a great way. What a great first season for College Kings, man. What a great way to end it. And it was an awesome time to begin it, man. I appreciate it, man. It was awesome.
Hey, thank you for being on, CDM. You've been amazing this year.
Oh, always, brother. Always.
Yes. Oh, is that a horn? Is that a horns up? Is that
no, that is rock and roll, baby. This is what I do for horns up. Put him down, baby. Put him down.
All right, CDM. Let's get out of here. Thank you once again. Thank y'all for listening and watching. YouTube, all social media platforms, all podcast platforms. Go out there, check it out. Give us some love. Like, subscribe. We're out. Peace. I'm Nate Dogg. That's CDM. What an amazing year. Thank y'all. Peace.
Deuces.